Hey everybody, it's Alika Lifty, and today let's brew our Ethiopia Genji Chella as a filter offering. This is a new coffee from the Genji region of Ethiopia. Really nice landrace varietals from Ethiopia, wash process coffee. We're looking at high elevation landrace, so we've got a lot of really dense, teeny tiny beans that are going to need, that are going to give us really bright acidity and a really nice floral characteristics. This coffee is really, really good. I really love the fruity flavors in addition to the complex floral and sweet flavors. It's really nice. This is gonna work really well in a lot of different brew methods. So today we're gonna brew what I call my very okay recipe. We're gonna brew this in the Stag X dripper, but this exact same recipe, and I'm talking exact same grind size and pouring style, is going to work in a Chella Wave 185, a Chella Wave 155, a Stag XF, a Hario V60, generally any pour over method. And what it's going to do is give you slightly different flavor characteristics just based on the inherent influence of the brewer itself. And so with the Stag, what we're gonna get is a little bit more sweetness than we get from the Chella Wave because of its very thermal insulated nature. So we're gonna use 16 grams of our Genji Chella, ground medium fine. This is going to be about 23, 24 clicks on your Comandante C40. We're gonna be looking at about 13 or 14 on your Brazza Encore, and this is 1 on the Fellow Ode grinder, which is actually what I ground it on today. So those with oats. If you have gotten the new burrs from Fellow for your Ode grinder, expect to be at either 1 or 1 1/3 for this brew guide. All right, so 16 grams of our coffee, and we're gonna be using 250 grams of water set to 207 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little extra heat to give us a little bit higher flow rate and to just make sure we get all this sweetness and our slightly shorter contact time with our coffee. But first things first, got my Stag X, a decanter. This recipe will actually fit in a 10-ounce mug, so if you don't have a decanter, you can brew straight into your mug. I still like to brew into decanters because then it gets a little bit cooler by the time it gets into my mug and I can drink it a little bit sooner. But let's go ahead and rinse our paper filters. I'm gonna drop just straight down here in the middle of my Stag X and rinse around the outside. I am trying to get some heat into this sucker. There we go. It's about halfway full. It's gonna drain out. I'm gonna give these filters just a little tug so that it's not suction to the bottom quite as much. And then let's dose our 16 grams of coffee. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now so that I keep all of this heat in my brewer. So, 16 grams. Almost there. Nailed it. All right, now don't forget to dump your water. Let's shake our brewer flat to start off with. You'll also do this with any cone drippers. Situate your brewer, tear your scale, get a timer ready to go, and we're gonna be ready to brew. And this is gonna be a pretty straightforward 4-pour recipe. I'm gonna start my timer and I'm gonna bloom really lightly, shooting for about 30 grams. And we're gonna let this bloom for 20 seconds, but I wanna bloom pretty quickly. It's light flow rate, but we can move around pretty quickly to touch all that coffee. There we go. So, fine grind size. If you find your coffee is really, really fresh, then you can bloom longer for that traditional 30 seconds. But here at 20, boom, I'm just punching it straight here in the middle of my brewer, putting a lot of heat in here, and I'm gonna go all the way up to 100 grams total. So we just agitated a whole lot, encouraged a quick flow rate during this stage of our brew. And then here at 40 seconds, I'm gonna hit it again to 200. Boom, drop in the middle. At this point, we should be pretty full in our brewer. but not close to running over the edges. If you are, then our grind is too fine. We're just gonna let this drain. If you agitate it enough, we're not gonna have a ton of coffee stuck here in the ridges of your filter. If we pour too light, then we didn't break that crust, and it's just gonna stick in there a little bit. Now, here at 1 minute and 15 seconds, I'm gonna do a spiral pour now to touch all the coffee, get anything out of these ridges, finishing off at 250. There we go. Slowed it down here at the later stages. We're gonna drip down. I expect about a 2 to 2 minute and 10 second drain time. So really fast brew for what is a really dense coffee, but we should get really great results here. This coffee has a really wide range that it tasted good. Too fast and too long was still pretty good. It just had minor outlying issues with that cup that made it not quite so pleasant. So if it drains too quickly or too coarse, then it's gonna be a little watery. It's still gonna have this nice brightness to it, but we're gonna lose some of the sweetness and it's gonna be kind of grassy. Now, if we drain too long, by grinding too fine, then again, still pretty good. Nice acidity, nice sweetness, nice floral characteristics, but then in the finish, we get this really bitter cocoa and apple skin flavor to it. So it becomes astringent and bitter in the aftertaste, which was not great. But when we are balanced, some people also ask why we would ever use decanters if recipes fit in the cup. Most decanters kind of funnel all of that aroma, and you get a nice smelling cup and a nice smelling room or apartment, whatever it is. When we're balanced, this coffee is like sweet lavender candy. We are going to get floral honey, so really floral. Lavender and papaya are super prominent in this coffee. Not like dried papaya, like in a trail mix, but fresh, sweet, and ripe papaya, floral, honey, lavender, and it has just got an excellent texture, excellent sweetness, really nice and bright. Even on this Stag X 2 minute drain, got a lot of oil sitting here on the top. It's gonna have a nice texture to it. And yeah, as always, serve and enjoy.